Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Aviation Network podcast. And it's exciting. You're going to have to maybe take a tranquilizer with this one because it is going to blow your mind today. We got some really cool stuff to talk about. And I've got a real powerhouse panel here with me today. And we're going to rock Second Life with this show. I just got a feeling. And they're even sounding the big air horns for us right now. I don't know if you heard that. So, hey, we're going to go around and let everybody introduce themselves. We got a special guest with us today, and we'll talk to him in just a moment. You're hearing a double feed, okay? I hope not. Does anybody else hear anything double?
Well, I don't have the sound from YouTube on. But,
you're probably hearing the voice from Second Life and the YouTube volume, so turn the volume down on YouTube.
I just popped it on for a moment, and I did hear my own voice, so I can say that much is working.
Yeah. Okay. So, AW, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you, and it's nice to be back. It's nice to be not working on the roof anymore, but my real life job has started up again, so I'm rather busy. But it's nice to be here one more time. Yeah,
my real life one started this past week too, so that's always a stressful time until you get back into the routine of everything again, and then you're okay.
But it doesn't stop my job here though, so it just kind of adds to everything. Right. I tend to work every day anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That keeps you off the streets and out of the bars. Well, maybe not. Yeah. Maybe it sends you to the bars. I don't know. Bolo Grady.
Hello. Yeah, it's just another beautiful day in St. Aubrey.
Yep. Glad to have you on board today. Kyle, Category 5 Storm Fury. How you doing,
hello,
Kyle?
Hello. I am well, brother. How are you?
Okay. Kyle's busy training for his title bout here. He's challenging the title. What's the date?
September 6th.
September 6th. All right. You'll be hearing more about that. And our special guest, Mr. Mike Mapp. Mike, it's so great to have you here today.
Absolutely, man. Special guest. Jeez. Yeah. I don't know what's special about that, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's Friday, man.
Yeah. Yesterday you didn't know how to spell special guest. Today you are. So man. Yeah. So, well, he kind of opened his big mouth last night and said some things. And I said, hey, you need to come on the podcast and talk about this. So
I was just talking. I don't know.
Mike Mapp, the man with the voice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's great. Good stuff. And you're going to hear some more from Mike. So he said, what do I talk about? I said, you'll think of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I still have no idea. We're going to wing it for sure. But
well, welcome to our world. That's what we do. And
the whole thing is just winging it.
Yeah. Metmes. Good day,
yes.
sir.
It's a great day. It's nice to be here again. And the time was quite calm after the big work of the preparing and doing the air show. And today we have the possibility to recap it and to do a review. Unfortunately, I must apologize for Akiria once again, right at the start. She's unable to join Second Life these days for important reasons. I'm not sure if she will be able to follow the podcast live, but everything I say here to the topic of the recap of the air show was being discussed with Akiria beforehand. And so it's our job to talk about today.
Yeah. Well, don't be nervous. You won't get in trouble with the boss. She'll be okay with everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So we look forward to your recap of the air show here and your analysis. We look forward to that. So I'm going to pop our agenda up here today, and I went over to the Firestorm Sims there last week or this week. I can't remember when now. I think it was kind of a combination of both, and recorded a little video. I just want to talk about it a little bit because it's a very, very cool experience if you haven't done it yet. And then Mike's going to help me with the Stream Deck review. I don't know if he knows that or not, but he is. And then Metmes will be talking about his our air show here with his recap of the St. Aubrey Summer Fun Air Show. And then AW's got a very, very interesting subject for us on the Builder's Corner. So I'm really looking forward to the show here. And I hope everybody else is too. And let me get back over here to Second Life. And okay, so yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever been over to the Firestorm Sims. They got 6 or 7 Sims over there, I think, and they've got a sandbox and they got an airport. You can't res any planes there, but you can. They've got some that you can fly, some demo reser things there, and but they've got a really cool space ride, and that's what I did. So whenever you log in Firestorm, it pops up with those different announcements, and sometimes it'll come up and you click on the link and it gives you the landmark to go over there. So that's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the video here that I made. And this is an abbreviated version of the whole experience. I didn't want to ruin it, by showing the whole thing because it is very cool. And plus it's kind of long too. And then there's some quests that you can do after you finish the trip. So here goes the Firestorm video. And when you get there, you land on the land in this place, and there's a map I'm showing now of the Sims. And I believe you're above. I forgot to look how high above we are, but we're up above the aerodrome sim. So there's all kinds of cool like sound effects there and everything going on. I don't know what this is, sound effects going on here. This may be, doesn't sound like what I was hearing there. Sounds like something, a fire burning. That may be some stuff they had from the ground. So anyway, you walk in there and walk through one of these hangars. I think this is an ISIL hangar that they have resed here. But you come on out and get in one of their pods, and then you take off and on this amazing journey.
Sorry about that, I left my radio on. Welcome to the big one. Ici here they are sending you all the way to Galaxy. Did you know this? Everybody knows after we went to the moon, mankind was able to spread out to the rest of our solar system incredibly quickly, right? Our landing triggered a gift from, let's say, neighbors. That's why we're heading to the moon right now, to use that gift, the portal to a very special place.
So yeah, this is a pretty cool setup there that they have with, I had my camera full, my video settings on full audio quality. So it's a pretty good graphic experience, I think.
Welcome to, well, we don't really know exactly what it is.
I'm impressed
Our
with this.
top
I've
guys say
never
this
been
place is
there.
both here and
Yeah.
not here.
It's.
We
I
can't
think the
figure
whole
it out,
thing
but
takes
what we
about
need to know is
20 minutes
this
or
is it.
so.
While we're in here, we can instantly move to any point in the solar system you see over there. This is how we did that quick colonizing after the moon landing. Some think our benefactors made the portal small on purpose, so we couldn't move around too much too quickly. That is not where I meant to put us. We're in the middle of. I didn't think Mars
This is
even
supposed
had
to be
stars
Mars,
that big
yeah.
anymore. This could get. Sorry. Well, we're back and safe. That's the important part. I'm opening our channel to Canis Major, but the response isn't coming back. I can't get Andromeda either. Something is wrong. We are cut off. I'm taking us back to Moonbase to straighten this out. I don't know what's happened. There's no way back out of here. I don't know if someone can come and get us either.
Oh
Beautiful.
no.
I have no guess where we are. Half our systems are down. Keep a lookout while I try something, okay?
Okay. Little 2001 Space Odyssey here.
That is the AFSS Epsilon, reported missing many years ago, but here it is, good as new. Could there be something temporal going on here? I have managed partial thrust, so we can avoid a collision with the Epsilon. I will try to dock at the main hub.
So that voice is supposed to be some kind of robot narrator that's like a HAL,
Yeah, I think
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I believe that's what they're trying to simulate there. So yeah, again, that was a very abbreviated version of the whole trip, and because there's a lot more in it, and they say a lot more stuff. There's a lot more dialogue, and then there's 2 different quests you can do. You can go up here on the Star Trek ship, and they give you several tasks to do. Basically, you don't have to do anything but follow the teleports and go and like sit down or stand by something, and then it says when you're done, click done, and you go on to the next thing. But it's still pretty cool. And there's one security one, so that might involve some combat or something. I don't know. I haven't been back to try that one yet, but I just
It's got that next generation vibe to it. Huh?
Yeah,
That's
the
cool.
ship. So it's pretty cool. It's very well done. I mean, that's like very professional, I guess you'd say. Okay, let me get back here. I gotta situate things, and 1 second here. Give me just 1 second. I had my UI back on to cut down on that background sound of the burning fire that was coming in there. Okay, back to second live. Here we are. Okay, there's everybody still here with me, amazingly. So anyway, check out the Firestorm Sims, and I mean, you can just type in. I didn't put a link up or anything, but you can just type in Firestorm in the map, because that's the name of all their regions, Firestorm whatever. So go check it out. And there's some really beautiful stuff down around on the ground and everything. So for you photographers in the house, you might like to go over there and take some photos.
Why are they called Firestorm Sims?
Because they're owned by the company or the group that makes the Firestorm viewer.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, very cool. Okay, so the next item on the list here is my experience I've had here this past week. It was quite a learning experience I had. But I was talking to Mike about a week or 2 ago, and saying with the aerobatic teams and stuff, there's so many gestures you have to use when you're flying that and I'm so clumsy on the keyboard, and you got to have multiple keys assigned, keystrokes assigned for things, and I can't remember half of them. And he said, why don't you use a Stream Deck? I go, a Stream Deck, what's that? So while he was saying it, I was typing it on Amazon, and bam, there it was. And I ordered it, and I had it the next day. So you can blame Mike for this next segment.
I actually use something like that. I have it programmed with a lot of little shortcuts and gestures and stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, if you do a lot of stuff, you really have to. So let me set this up here. I made a video, but I was going to show some stuff live, attempt to anyway. So let me turn on my webcam. Okay, so there's my Stream Deck, and I apologize for my webcam because it's not, the icons on the buttons really aren't showing up really clear, but you kind of get the idea, okay? So that's just the first page, and that's my Hawks aerobatic team setup. And then I have, let me change the page here, and then we go, that's Team Phoenix, and then here's a top secret project that I'm working on that I don't want anybody to know about right now. So we're working on. So anyway, and the way that you set those up is I've got the desktop on here, and so there's the software that you use, and you can add, and Mike tells me that you can add as many pages on here as you want. So here's my first page with my Hawk, and then so you can see my icons and my text for the buttons, that label what they are. And and when you put one up, then if there's another page, it automatically puts this little button here to change the page. Of course, it doesn't work on the software, but if I change it down here, see, it'll change up there too. I'm changing it on the box. So
yes, sir. You can have as many profiles and as many pages as you'd like. You can also have it set up so that when you open a certain piece of software, say you open up Firestorm, the Stream Deck will automatically change over to the profile that you have set up for Firestorm.
Yeah.
So your buttons will all change and everything. It's honestly, it's a macro pad. It's very
So it's very cool. It's cool. So Mike, and I'll give him a chance after we watch my video. We'll come back to this and show you. There's other things you can do with this besides just Second Life gestures, but and most of those are, most of this, all these buttons that I have set up are text-based buttons, and I'm going to set up a button in my video to show you how I did it. So anyway, and we'll get back off of the go back to the main screen here. So I'm going to go ahead and run my video here, and then we'll come back and let Mike tell, if he will, share with us some of the stuff he does with it. So let me hit my button here. Here we go. Okay, so I'm out here on the runway preparing for takeoff. I've already locked the brakes. As you can see, I'll shut them back off so you can see there, brake off and brake back on. And I don't normally have the box here, the Stream Deck, propped up at this angle, but I did so I could catch it on my webcam. But it's not real clear on the text, but you kind of get the idea. And you got different icons on there that you can use. There's some you can buy that's more aviation related, I think, but most of those I searched out were for flight sim. So I just stuck with the ones that came with the software. And again, you can make your own even. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take off. I'm going to power up to 45 here. 45%, and release the brake in 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And I'm up. I'm going to cut back to 35 here till I get back around. And then we're going to put the gears up and the flaps up, and here we go. So if you look up the stuff, they have profiles already made for flight sim. If you look that up, you can see that they've got these programmed like it would be a real cockpit. So I guess we can kind of pretend we got a real cockpit here in Second Life. So just some of the features of it here. We got the aileron lock, which I'll cut out here across this way a little bit to give me a little more time. So if I lock my ailerons, and now I can do barrel rolls. Turn them off, and then if I want to auto level, I hit the auto level button. There I am. I'm auto leveled. Okay, we'll come back around here and do a loop, and with the smoke on. So it really, especially if you're doing this type of flying, it really does make it a lot more convenient. So here, let's swing back around here, and we will hit the smoke on. And get out of here about center field and start our loop. So there's our loop, smoke off. And I normally, if I'm flying with the team, I normally keep particles off because with all 4 planes and smoke on, I can't see. So coming back around here, sorry about the view of the buttons, but that's how it is. So let's get ready to land. We're going to put the flaps down, the gears down, and come back around here. I'm going to land here right now, kind of a quick landing. But hey, that's how it goes, and it really does improve your I guess response time and everything else for, hitting buttons and activating gestures. It really helps me because I'm so clumsy on the keyboard anymore. I just really hate using keyboards. I play Call of Duty all the time, and I always use a joystick because I'm just too bad on the keyboard. So anyway, that's our demonstration with the Phoenix plane. Now I'm going to show you how to set up a new some new buttons here, which is pretty cool. So I'll be back in a few with that. Okay, so this is a project I've been working on, and this is a Cayman that we're going to be using, and it's a top secret project, so I can't tell you anything about it, but Cayman uses a HUD, which the HUD's not too bad, but I've replaced a lot of the options on the HUD with the buttons on the Stream Deck, just because it makes it simpler to when you're flying, especially doing aerobatics. Makes it simpler to push a button here on my desk rather than trying to go up and hit a button with a mouse key. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get on board here, and it's got kind of a cool animation where he climbs up in there and sets down, and and then we can start it. So on my Stream Deck, and let me get that called back up here again. Okay, there's my desktop, and there's the Stream Deck. So you can have as many of these pages as you want, and if you want to add more, you just click on this plus sign. But we're just going to add 2 more buttons here, a start button and the landing gear control button. So again, you go over here. This is all the options over here that you have, features that you can set for your buttons to control, and for Second Life gestures, of course, we only need text really. So I'm going to put a text command over here, and we're going to call this one start. And then we're going to, the command we want to send to Second Life is start. And we want to make sure it enters it, and then paste from clipboard. I don't know if I've experimented around with that, and I'm not sure which one works, or if it's any difference for Second Life. But anyway, I usually do simulate typing, and then I'm going to go over here and change the texture of it. So if you go over here, and you can create your own texture, you can buy textures for these buttons, or you can like I said, create your own, or you can use the ones in the file here. So I'm going to use the power button here. So then that will start us up. I don't usually put the stop button on there in case, because I had a stop set up as a gesture, and I would accidentally bump it and stop the engine in mid-flight, which caused some problems and also could be very embarrassing. So anyway, I'm going to change the text there color, and you go there and you can change your text, the font and whatever, and the size if you want to. But on this one, I'm just going to change the color. So there we go. So now I made it green. And there's my button. And if we look at the webcam down here, I'm going to shut my screen off. It's not real clear, but you can see the button came up right there on the webcam. I'm sorry for my webcam quality for this text from this close-up shot, but that's how it works. So then I want to add a gear up and down button. So again, let me turn back on my desktop, and so I go over here now, clicking a blank button space, drag a text function up there. I'm going to just write gears there, and of course the command for that is G. Press enter, and we're going to tell it to simulate typing. We're going to change the text or the texture, and let's see if we can find a gear. I guess I could use a wrench, but something that looks kind of like a gear here. Again, you can create your own textures. That kind of looks like a gear, but I use that. Well, I didn't have smoke off on this one, so I'm going to use that. And that kind of looks like a gear, doesn't it? So, and then I'm going to change the color of it just so it stands out. I got blue and red. I don't know what I'll make this one. We'll see. Something that shows up fairly good. So, I don't know. We'll just make it red, a red color too, or kind of a, yeah. All right, so that's how you do that. Oops, clicked off the screen. So again, you can add as many pages as you want, and you can see how I have all these set up. And it really does make flying, especially when you're doing something like aerobatics, really does make it a lot easier, a lot simpler. So I'm not going to fly this one because, again, that's part of our top secret project, and I will be telling you about that later. We're going to have some videos of our project, and actually it's going to be open to the public coming in the latter part of October. So stand by to MTFB Radio and SL Aviation Network for the latest in aviation news. Now back to the podcast. Okay, I had to put that little plug in there for SL Aviation Network. But so, Mike, anything you'd like to say about the device?
Oh man, you've been working. Jeez, that is a lot of stuff you've got programmed into it.
Well, I just
it's very
figured it out in like a day. I mean, it's so easy to do.
Yeah, it really is. It's just drag and drop for the most part. Yeah, a lot of people use it for like graphic design when you're making textures and things like that. They use it for the hotkeys in Photoshop, or but it does a lot more than text too. I use it to control Spotify throughout my entire house. I have one button that I have an applet from a platform called If This Then That, which is ifttt.com. That I push it and it turns the kettle on in the kitchen through a smart plug. So that the water will start boiling. That way I don't even have to get up and do that.
When you were saying that last night, I thought you were just doing that in Second Life. I didn't realize you were doing it in real life.
No, in the physical world, yes, I do. It'll go in the kitchen. It literally flips the smart plug. Controls the lights in my house. I have I have a Blink outdoor camera system set up around my house.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Black Friday deals one time, and I jumped on that. But so I have that, and I'm able to pull those up with it as well. It controls Discord, mute, and deafen that I utilize. I also use it when I'm doing commentary for boxing that I've been doing, as Kyle's probably aware. I mean, obviously, with what he's got going on.
Go ahead and ring your bell. You got...
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It basically I have my mixer set up with a setting for reverb to give it more of an announcer feel. So it's like, you know, in the red corner fighting for Team Cryptic. You know, it does all that. It's just one button, a physical button that you have on a device sitting on your desk. It's not very large. It doesn't take up a ton of space, and it does a lot for you. Pretty much whatever your imagination can run. Yeah. It is a macro pad, but those have been around for years. This one, the secret's in the software and all of the different integrations that other devices have with it. One thing that I
price
probably
on that?
What's that?
What's the price on that?
It's just over $100, I think.
I think the one I got was 130 or something like that. I can't remember. Look it up on Amazon. You on Amazon? Look it up on Amazon. So yeah, I got the software called up here. So if you look over here on the right, you've got all these buttons or all these functions that you can assign to buttons. So I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on there.
Right. I mean, as far as Second Life applications and things that you can utilize it for, I mean, obviously there's certain scripting things that you can go. If you don't tend to do it in Notepad, AW could probably speak to that way more than I could. With all the scripting that you know in the vehicle systems and things. So I don't use it for that, but what I do use it for, and the believe it or not, the button that I press the most is the one that sends a teleport offer to Cammy, who's actually sitting in the back of the room over there.
Hi,
She's
Cammy.
my co-pilot.
Hi, Cammy.
So, yeah, I mean, because you go shopping and things like that in Second Life, and it's can I get a TP? Can I get a TP? Hey, where you at? Can I get a TP? So, now you can, because I got a button right here in front of me that I push, and it's automatic. It just sends it to her. I don't have to do any drop
So
down.
can it act as a controller too?
It can. It depending on how you program it, it can absolutely act as a controller. It can control your camera in world. However, I haven't been able to fine tune it myself so that it's not, you know, because you really got to mess with the adjustments on the fly cam if you're able to do that.
Well, they're going to eventually have controller support within OSL, so then you would be able to program it to actually, say, run a vehicle or move your avatar, things like that.
Definitely. I use it to turn the lights on in the Jaguar that you made. Which is the best
That's
vehicle
just L.
Second Life.
That's an easy one.
By far, yeah. It is. But that I do, though. I use it for that, and it's fantastic. As far as flight simulator applications, I utilize it. Like you set up in here with gear and all of those things. You know, I basically just set the keyboard commands for those things to the Stream Deck, and as soon as I bring up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 or 2020, it automatically switches to the profile that I have set up for that. It all started.
Product that's similar, but it has 4 or 6 rotary knobs on it. It's called a loop deck.
Cool.
And it's programmed in almost the same way. It also does that dynamic app switching. When you switch the app, it changes its profile, I've never seen the Stream Deck software until now, and it's very similar. So
that's really cool.
Yeah. So that, you know, just makes life easier for us, I think. And what I liked about it was so easy to program. Once I figured out, all I got to do is send it a text, you know, set up text messages to send.
And then if you have RLV, you know a little bit about the RLV code, you can send yourself RLV commands.
Mm.
Because those would come in the form of, you would just have to wear some kind of a HUD that you made yourself. And then if they send a text which comes in the form of an owner, say, then you can write any RLV command that's in the book.
Cool.
So anything that you want to automatically teleport yourself or automatically sit down or whatever, you could do that and wire that up to a button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see it. Wow, that's cool. Mike, what were some of those commands that you were talking about? That Firestorm that you can type in, like
the chat commands, like Res Plat will put a platform under your feet if you type that in. And then there's FLR, which if you're flying up in the sky and you type FLR, it'll automatically teleport you straight to the ground level. There's all kinds of them. You can find them in preferences, I think, in Firestorm.
I've saw those in there before.
What's that?
I saw those in there, but I've never messed with them. So
TPH is one you want to try to not say too often. The DD I use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, draw distance. Yeah. What's TPH?
Teleport home.
Teleport home. Okay.
Well, it used to be anyway. Maybe it's not.
It might be.
But I'm not going to test that right now because.
Yeah, don't try it. I don't want to do it because I'll never get back. Speaking of our guests in our audience here, I forgot Wade's here from Team Phoenix, and that reminds me, I'm going to pop up before I do anything else you'd like to say about Stream Deck, Mike.
Anything I'd like to say about the Stream Deck? I mean, it's. I mean, I got it initially to. Because I had a Twitch channel, it's been a little while now, which I had for about 5 years. And I got it to control OBS while I was streaming that way. And since then, I mean, I no longer have the channel. I'm no longer doing that. But I've used it so much more since then, just in random things.
Yeah.
Come up.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's very useful in here. So I did want to say, because I was just sitting here thinking, AW and Mike, both, I met you guys through doing the Grid Flight Challenge. So AW, was it? We did that AW about a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about a year ago. I was with the Dornier.
Yep. When you just
the
first
Dornier
released
28.
the Dornier, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you wanted to do the Grid Flight with it, the Grid Flight Challenge. So we did that. And then I said, hey, I was tinkering with ideas how to present it, because I made a video of it, and I said, let's just do a podcast. So him and I did a podcast over at Gencell, and then about that same time I did a video over here, airport to airport video with Bull and Metmes and Hikira, and so then we got this whole relationship started, and I ended up with this terminal here, and so I came back to them and said, hey, let's do I want to start doing a podcast. This would be an ideal place to do it, because we're out here in the open and the tarmac's right here. We can res stuff, and it's just a perfect place. So they made room and said, hey, we got a terminal over here for you. And so that rest is history on that one. And then about around that time, Mike and said, I want to do the flight challenge, and I didn't know Mike really. I think I'd talked to you before or something, maybe. I don't remember, Mike, but anyway. So then
it was possible. I did, though. It's something that I'd followed for a long time. You've been doing the Grid Flight Challenge ever since they started expanding the mainland to the point where we can go to different continents. I've seen this stuff in airports and that. I just never really did it. And then one day I just kind of was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this done. This is a ton of fun. I want to get it done. And it was probably one of the most, I want to say rewarding experiences, because it was an achievement that I did. We went through the whole thing seriously and all that. It was a great challenge and a lot of fun to do, for sure.
Well, and then of course Kyle's been helping and been my friend for several years now, and he's our security and airport manager, general manager at Gencell, and he's in the boxing, in the cryptic boxing, so he got me in. I'm a sponsor for that now, and go over to the match. And then I got more acquainted with Mike through that. And so,
which is really weird because I had I didn't know Kyle. You know what I mean? I didn't. And one day he was training. I just walked in because I don't box. I just commentate and do some. And I was talking to a microphone basically. And he started mentioning the Grid Flight Challenge and things like that I was doing. And then he mentioned he knew you, and I'm like, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
It was
He was quite taken aback by it.
So those guys know about you over there. Those guys know you over here. And he said, "Oh, it's Mike Mapp." Oh yeah, I know Mike. So
well, you got a good voice for commenting. When you were doing that announce force there, it sounded like Don LaFontaine.
I really appreciate it. I do. A lot of people say Michael Buffer.
I don't know if you know who that was, but Don LaFontaine was the In a World guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In a World.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a World.
Yeah. I'm.
That's him.
I'm cammed in on your shirt, Mike, and so you want to talk a little bit about that project that we're working on.
Oh, really? Yeah. Sure. I like you said when you I had no idea what I was going to talk about when I came in here, but this is something new that I'm doing along with Luke. He's been so generous in offering some space up in Gensel City, just up top of Gensel Airport. About 10 to 12 years ago, something like that. I don't recall the exact time. I had a bowling alley in World, and it was one of my most favorite places in Second Life. And as things do happen, it kind of just fell off, and wasn't able to keep the land up for a while when I had it, and it just kind of went away, and still remained something that was my favorite place, and I always had it in my profile and everything like that. Since then, the situations have changed for me. We're doing a little bit better now. The job's looking up and all that, and I decided, you know what? I think I want to put my bowling alley out again, maybe somewhere. Do something along those lines, and maybe start a bowling league. For that matter, because it is a ton of fun, and I kind of just want to do that. So went to Hawks practice because I do some the narration for the Hawks now, which is an awesome opportunity that I've been able to been asked to do, and we're there and we're kind of hanging out before they start practicing, and I asked Luke, I said, you think you want to start you think you want to join a bowling league? You think you'd ever want to do that? And he's like, heck yeah, man. After a while. And I was like, cool, because I, starting to garner some interest with some different people and things like that, just to even see if it was a possibility. And then 2 days later, he sends me a message saying, there's a spot up in Gensel City that you've been wanting to put a bowling alley in. You used to have one there. If we wanted to do that. And I thought, yeah, I'm not going to turn that down, man. That's an awesome opportunity. So he showed me where it was going to go and, kind of what he wanted. And I thought, okay, so I went to work and put together a concept for a bowling alley that would fit that space that is a bit different. It's got a beach outdoor theme, which is a lot different for a bowling alley. And we set it up with the Berkson lanes and all that. And Ball Busters Beach Bowling was born, and it's kind of something that I'm really excited about. It's got a whole area for dancing and stuff, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm currently, like you said, getting interest to start the league because I do want to have a bowling league. I think that's something a lot of people would be interested in, whether it's teams or not. I don't know yet. There's a Google form that I have created to see kind of who wants to be involved or not. Currently, we can accept 24 people at the maximum, and I've got some spreadsheets and all that set up for it to do some scoring and things. I made a couple of trophies and all that kind of stuff, but it's all in fun. It's not really a serious competitive thing. I don't really think that would be something to...
No, people end up like John Goodman in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let it get that far for sure, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be something. I'm definitely gonna do it.
Uncle Buck,
100%.
he was a bowler too. Uncle Buck was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
noticed,
Kingpin's the best movie for bowling, though.
I do
yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's cool.
100%.
Yeah. If you go over there and don't pay much attention to it because we're just getting started, but you go over there and look at the scoreboard and see who has the highest score on there right now.
Bull says
259.
bowler with your thinking feet.
Oh, bull, you're always dangerous.
Okay. So thanks. And I did want to mention our guest here, Cammie, of course, who's Mike's friend, and Wade back here, who's I've got him busy working on something here, and I did want to show you what we've got coming up here in October 24th through the 26th. We're going to have we're calling it Slush Kosh High Sierra Fly-In, and that's going to be part of Drivers of SL. And it'd be a Drivers of SL camping weekend, so there'll be a drive associated with it where we go to the camp. And Yorkie Bardeen is working on our build for that, and we're going to have I don't want to tell you the location yet, but we've got 3 Linden event sims, and she's working on making it like a bush plane type setting to fly in, so you can fly in, land your plane, taxi over to a campsite, park, put up your
really looking forward to that,
your
too.
tent, and we've got a whole weekend of entertainment lined up with the big air show with all the SL Aviation teams on October 26th. So stay tuned for that. It's coming up, and so yeah, cool.
I think
stuff.
we were talking that we were going to do some live broadcasts through MTFB radio through that weekend too, as well. Yeah,
we'll be doing live broadcasting. We've got DJs. We got that top secret project that I'm telling you about. That will be revealed on Saturday night of that weekend. So you want to mark your calendars to come over to see that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and hopefully that's going to be a mind-blowing experience. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to move on here. I was looking at the clock. I've talked more than I intended to, but Metmes, it's all yours.
Yes, thank you. Well, the Summer Fun Air Show St. Aubrey is now history. And never before has such a spectacle taken place on St. Aubrey. Since this spring, when the idea was born, everyone involved has worked tirelessly to make the airshow a reality. And while the teams were putting together their programs and conducting their training, we at St. Aubrey were challenged to hold an airshow in a location that was not designed for such events. I talked about the previous podcast. I would like to give a special mention to Akiria. She was the driving force behind our efforts. She developed an overall organizational vision and an agenda for planning and implementing all the necessary measures. And the two of us, in collaboration with Bull, reviewed and optimized everything we needed to do to make the airshow a reality. Therefore, my first big compliment and thank you goes to Akiria. I was responsible for working with Lyndon and for creating and setting up the grandstands and planning and creating the necessary facilities for managing visitor flows. And today is the moment to take stock. I have some slides and a wall. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to load up. It's okay. Well, feedback from spectators was not collected systematically, but was brought to our attention. The positive feedback far outweighed the negative. First, it was a great event. All the teams showed an excellent and impressive program, and the atmosphere was a good one. All people have been happy. They are talking about weeks after the event. It seems it was the hit in this summertime. Overall, spectators felt well informed and guided. The information boards at the meeting point on Center Bray were clearly understandable. And the teleports worked flawlessly. I have to say that the teleports script, I have got it from Ball, and it was, we have been happy to have it, this script, because it's very, very, very severe script, and it worked without any faults. Once the grandstand reached 20 participants, teleportation was no longer possible. The message SIM full appeared automatically. So we could, this was not dangerous. The SIM for the SIM would sorry for my speech. The SIM would break. It was not possible. We noticed that the radio hut was not well known, and the spectators were not aware of where they could get it, and we have to be aware next time for that. The hut is needed because it's very important that the spectators can hear the messages which are broadcasted by the radio then. Okay. The next is the spectators of the first and the second show. We can talk about that it was more expected. There were more people than we have expected about. We expected a large audience, but were still somewhat surprised by the high number. Wendy Linden had her own count, and we were able to consult the visitor counter on Center Bray too. With at least 80 people, we were probably one of the most successful air shows in Second Life, I think. We have the 3 grandstands on the 3 water sims with 20 spectators. So the 60 spectators, they had a place, and the others, they are vagabonding on Center Bray or Center Bray South. That was a problem. But anyway, the dislocation of the spectators has worked very well. The meeting point at Center Bray, as I have said, was good. The information about the teleport has been good, and teleport to the stands, they were without any fault. And the sim will have been locked if they have reached the 20 people. So next one is the situation on the third show. There was only one grandstand, the big one, because we have been on the sim of the neighbor. It is a full sim with this. It can take 100 avatars. In reality, there have been about 50 to 60 spectators. Not all of the spectators on the grandstand before has dislocated. But all of the spectators were on one big grandstand on this full sim then. And then we have to say it was not all without problems. The full sim, the neighbor sim, had a fixed landing point on of the sim, and we had to disable them first. And the private option, the privacy of the sim, had to be disabled because we had some difficulties to look what the hogs are showing. Then some spectators reported that the low-flying aircraft could not be seen very well behind the palm trees on Center Bray. I was unable to observe this myself. I don't know how severe this problem has been in reality. However, many spectators apparently had to contend with severe lag on the neighboring sim. We suspect that despite the theoretically possible 100 avatars, at least 50 avatars present the already caused lag. Maybe, I don't know. It was not, some of the spectators have talked about that they have not been able to write messages in this situation. due to the lag. This was what spectators have talked to us. Next topic is, switch. The security on Centerbrae. We wanted to install a security to prevent too many wandering avatars from interfering with the planes or the teams taking off and landing. And Kyle agreed to take on this job. He did what he could, but his hands were tied when it came to sending people away because they were sometimes unreasonable or simply refused. Kyle did what he could, and we are very grateful to him for that. But we have to note that we had no problems whatsoever on the water sim. There were no foreign boats or aircraft to disrupt the air show. Apparently, the large posters had not failed to have an effect. And we have to think about for the next show if we would need security or not. Because if we can prevent that too much people are vagabonding around, then we don't need security, I think. A topic we didn't think, the space for the pilots and the staff should also have a place where they can watch the air show outside of Centerbrae, because they were there standing around, and what's not correct for the pilots, because they should be able to watch the show too. We will take this problem with us and look for a solution for next time. We have to consider that the pilots and staff maybe they are 10 up to 50 people, and then we have a problem on the sim with the lag. The lag will then begin. Feedback and propositions from spectators. Some spectators, especially those who are familiar with the organization of such events, also sent us the following feedback. The length of the show was pleasant. It was not too long, not too short. And one of the suggestions, bring variety to future shows, not always the same teams, for example, but also others, or even other aircraft, something like that. Maybe a low-flying flying machine between the shows of the teams. Many spectators did not understand why the show was moved to Centerbrae. They thought the view was better on the water sim. There would have been no lag there, and they would not have had to relocate. The time could have been better used for another performance. As far as the feedback of some spectators, we can see it differently, but I have to say that. Then this is a very important topic. The collaboration with Linden Lab had a difficult start. It is clear that without Linden's support, there would have been no air show. My initial request, the official ticket, were recorded on June the 29th, but then nothing happened for a long time while we waited for the green light, especially for Centerbrae. Finally, we began our preparations without a definite certainty. Only after repeated inquiries did we receive confirmation of support 1 month after submitting the ticket. Wendy Linden and Madori Linden at the first meeting agreed to take on the part of the work that we couldn't do ourselves, and then it worked well. Early in the morning on August 17th, all the necessary installations were completed. Wendy Linden then accompanied us throughout the show and provided impressive support wherever she could. And we are very grateful for that. She did just a very great job, and we think it would be a good idea to ask Wendy Linden again for the next show. Well, this is the feedback of Hakiri and me as the main people responsible for the organizational information at Centerbrain. But it's important maybe also to ask you, Bull, what was your impression of all this we have done together?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. I forgot all about that one section. I've got the Marlowe's Pond section there. That's sectioned off, and I had that's set to private, and I forgot about that. So that's why they couldn't see. But I switched that about a fourth of the way in, and I opened that up. I'll just slip my mind on that one. But yeah, man, I think the Lindens, they were here the whole time. That Wendy was here the whole time. There was another Linden too. That was also, they were great. I thought they were very supportive. Excellent. No complaints at all. And the crowd, I have to tell you, Met was, he was setting these bleachers up for 60 people, and I'm just rolling my eyes, and I'm going, there's no way. There might be 20. Maybe 10, and people just kept coming and coming, and I looked on the map, and every bleacher was full, and then I saw that I remember seeing 82 at one time, and I also on the St. Aubrey sim, it went way over 25. There was 30 some people on there, but I think that's because if you've got premium access that they let you on no matter what, I think, I'm not sure, but it was definitely over 25.
Okay.
But I thought it was great. So
I did too, actually. I mean, yeah, there's hiccups and things like that when you have any event in Second Life. It's going to happen. I mean, it's the limitations of the digital world we choose to reside in put us in that position where, things are, you're going to have lag, you're going to have privacy things and all that. I think Luke had a lag issue at one point at the beginning of the third show. But from my perspective, overall, it was a great afternoon. It really, really was. It was fantastic. And I would love for you guys to do another one at some point. It really was a good day.
Oh, thank you. So it worth all that work you have done.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a lot of work, isn't it? It's a lot of work.
Yes, it was.
There's details that come up that you don't foresee, you can't imagine. So I don't know. We've been doing them for 10, 12 years now.
Matt, that's a great review.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that, but that's really good to kind of go over everything so that it makes it better next time. That was a great review. Great slideshow. Awesome job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Very, very good. I was a bit surprised on the player HUD because I thought it was set that the Lindens were going to put out the player HUD, but I guess that fell through the crack. But I know at one point on the stream, I think because my Sam's broadcaster, record, lists shows how many have listened, high and at a high point, and there was 80 on there at one time. So most of the people heard that wanted to, so, or, that were able to. So, and
we ended up getting the HUDs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every bleachers, I know I kept asking if anybody needed the HUD. So the bleachers I was at, everybody got bleachers because I was announcing it and sending them one if they needed one. So, I think at the beginning, I didn't even have one. I did. Well, no, I think I did because I had one earlier. But I mean, that's just, I need to get up a giver, throw a script in a box, and
I've got it. The box is a giver. and they're all
Yeah.
transferable. So I'll pass you a
Yes.
giver for it. So
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
they're all transferable. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
So-
it's good to rehash all this
yeah,
because
yeah, it is.
make it a lot better next time.
Yeah,
And from my perspective, yeah, I mean, like you said, Metmes, Kyle absolutely killed it, man. He had his work cut out for him there for a little bit, but it eventually settled down. But yeah, man, you did amazing.
If
from where I
Kyle
was.
if Kyle knows ahead of time, you know, if you let him know enough in advance, he'll handle it. You don't have to worry about it because I do it to him all the time. I feel bad after a while, you know, because I said, "Oh, I asked Kyle to do all this," and I never even checked on him, you know, half the time. But
That's all good, brother.
I know.
Yeah, and I could give you boot rights next time too.
Yeah.
Just from the St. Aubrey. Obviously, I can't do it from Linden Waters, but
And he wouldn't misuse them at all. I mean, because he's pretty laid back mostly. I mean, it takes a lot to make him mad. So
yeah, and
but we
yeah, and like if I ever boot anybody, which I don't even think I have anybody that I booted. I don't know. Maybe it's been so long, but the estate owners, the
Yeah.
people that run the estate here, are
Right.
so awesome. I mean, they'll ban you from the whole estate,
Yeah.
you know, if anybody's out of line. So I think most of the riffraff is. Well, I probably shouldn't say it on the podcast. That's just an advertisement to griefers. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disregard. Mute that. Mute that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a good learning experience, and you guys know the reason we had to move the team is because the Hawks team have to res things on the sim, and you know they couldn't res it out. So you know we'll have to come up with a different plan, but it would be better if I could fly over the water sims.
Well, I think that the Lindens would res that stuff for you. I think at the time.
They might, yeah.
I think they
give 'em to
would.
them.
I think
Yeah.
Met
If
was
it's-
saying that, or somebody. I don't know who
Yeah.
was telling me that next time that they would probably do that for
Yeah.
Yeah, they will do this. I have asked Wendy for that, and she said there's absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
If she will get the stuff, transferable stuff, then she will do that. Or maybe we can the red box set up, and then you have to click on the red box. Something like that. I don't know.
Right.
It's possible.
Right.
You can also make a temp HUD.
Yeah.
You know, it reses and then it asks to be attached.
Right. But the thing that they need resed is so big, you know. One avatar can't handle it all. But anyway, Wendy and Midori both have worked with us on the Fly for Life when we do the Fly for Life regions. We've done those 3 years now and got them reserved already for next year. So, yeah, they're really good people to work with. And I had a few complaints about the performance of the Sims this year. And so they already told me I got some free stuff coming that they normally charge for next year. So, you know, they always make it right if they can. So I do appreciate all their support. Anything else, Metmes?
Nope, all is said. Thank you very much.
And now I'm going to turn it over to AW. He has a very awesome topic, and I'm sure everyone's going to be glued to the edge of their seat on this one. Go ahead, AW.
Yes, I brought the glue. So
Okay, good.
it's already stuck, so you're stuck now.
Okay.
You're all glued. All right, so I have another video in our series of, well, what should I call this? A series of performance, sim crossing, vehicle use kind of series. I think we've done about 4 of them so far.
Yes.
This one is going to look at a concept which we've only slightly mentioned, but it's a concept which I think might actually be something that the lab could do to improve our lives as vehicle users. So maybe we should start with the vid, and then if anybody wants to ask something, we'll do that afterwards.
Okay, rolling.
And welcome back. We're still Well, this is a process that will probably never end, but currently, I think this is maybe the 4th or 5th installment of the sim crossing and driving and flying performance series. So I have a few theories that I wanted to share with you. So the first one is, it has to do with textures loading into the cache. And if you use your texture console, you can see it here in Firestorm. It's also available in the default viewer. Right here it says VRAM, which right now is about half full. And this one here is cache, and that's almost empty because I just cleared my cache. So the theory that I want to share with you has to do with occlusion, which is a fancy word that basically means you can't see it. And if we look at our current draw distance, which is, it's 168. If I lower that, say, to about 100, you would think that would be okay for driving because, you know, you shouldn't really be seeing stuff. But notice, all I need to do is change my view angle, and already things start to want to load in. And this thing here that says BW, that means bandwidth. So that's actually stuff that's going from the internet into your computer at a very high rate of speed, simply because you turned around. And this is one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about. This has a lot to do with, I think, why we're having performance issues with vehicles. So at no point have we ever wanted to look inside of my buildings here. But if I suddenly cam in, you'll notice the textures are already loaded. They did not have to load once I cammed in. And I think that this is intentional. I think they do that so that people get this sort of seamless view all around them, rather than as soon as you go into a new location, everything is untextured. So what I wanted to do was go on a little drive, and while we do this drive, I'm going to have a look at what happens in the texture console, and also over here, which shows my process view of RAM. Right now the RAM is not very high at all. These are the cores of my CPU, and this is a general graph here. So as we go on a drive, you'll see the texture load is very dynamic, and it starts to fill up as we get within range of many textures. And some of the sims, let me put the map on, some of the sims as we go in this direction have so many textures that the load, as you can see, the bandwidth is way higher than what we had before. It's in the 10,000 range. It's normally limited to 3,000, but it will exceed that if necessary. And this is a pretty highly textured sim, so as we go into it, you can kind of see how the cache is filling up very rapidly. See, I've got a 10 gig cache. It's already gone from empty to probably 1.5 gigs. And this is the point I'm trying to make is, at no point am I ever planning on actually seeing most of the textures. I only want to see the textures that are immediately visible through my car window. Already my VRAM has almost gone up to maximum. So there is so much useless information being loaded into the cache. And how exactly does that work? Well, I don't know, since I'm not an expert on this, and I don't do a viewer code, but I can test. And one of the things that I wanted to test, I'm going to try to get somewhere where we don't spy into someone's house, but I'll get to a place where it's mostly like shops and stuff where they don't mind if you're camming in. I think this is a shop. So let's say we stop right here, and now all you can see is this thing that says Jugo Art Gallery Museum, and there's a bit of art here, and that's it. And you got an exterior wall, and this is all that should load, right? However, I'm going to bet that now that we're in here, and see the bandwidth is still churning, as soon as I start camming around, every single one of these textures is already loaded. Every single one of these textures is already loaded in. Now, I did not actually want to see them until I started camming in, but I guess the assumption is that we all want that. But this is very bad for the car driver and for the boat driver, and to a lesser degree for the airplane driver, because all of this stuff it represents bandwidth that's being used in such a way that will fill up the cache and will make things difficult for you. And that's why you end up having these freezes and jitters and stutters and stuff like that have nothing to do with any kind of load. So you notice my RAM is fine, my processor use is fine, everything according to Process Lasso is showing up is just fine. So why is it that you get to some areas in Second Life and it's just plain not fine? Why do you end up with poor performance? Well, there's only so much that any physical system can handle as we're churning so much of this stuff in and out. You see the bandwidth load is going up to massive amounts. The cache is starting to fill up, and already we've had a bad sim crossing. Is this because of all of these textures that are constantly being loaded in? Now we're starting to get the gray. You know, we've been through this before. We've seen how, see now my performance is starting to suffer, and yet nothing shows up here. It's still only 50% memory load. Responsiveness is good. Processor usage is not high. So why then do you see degraded performance? My FPS is still high. You see degraded performance for some reason that's not easy to tell. And I believe that is because if you imagine all of the electrons that have to travel through the architecture of your computer, with this massive amount of data that's churning, and constantly churning, the more you drive and the faster you go, the more the churning happens. This data is not traveling at an infinite speed. So with that much data, there is going to be a physical limitation of how quickly that much data can travel between CPU and RAM and the disk or the SDD or whatever it is you're using for storage and the GPU. All that stuff is constantly churning in and out, and most of it uselessly, because we're not actually looking at any of these textures. They're just getting loaded into the cache, they're loaded into VRAM, but we're not actually using them, we're not looking at them. See, I've got this thing here, there's a wall. All you should see is a wall. I go in here and you can see everything inside. I don't want to spy, so I'm not going to go any further, but you get the idea. It's like this everywhere. There's, you can test this out yourself. You go on a drive, set a low draw distance of 100 or less, and you'll notice that so much of this stuff uselessly just keeps using up all of the resources that the physical architecture of your computer has. I do not believe that you can buy a powerful enough computer to overcome this deficit. So what am I proposing? Well, let's finish our drive, and I'll tell you what I'm proposing while I'm finishing up the drive. I've just put in a request at feedback.secondlife.com, which is the new sort of canny suggestion box thing that they have. And I'm hoping that more people are going to get on board with this. The suggestion is that they create an option This thing should be a toggleable option. Here we go. See, now the performance has just really suffered. As soon as we went in here, I've never looked in the upstairs. It's completely loaded. All of that is loaded. So the suggestion is don't load anything into the cache, any textures, unless they are not occluded. And occluded means that it's blocked by something. So anything behind this wall over here, that's occluded. It's still loaded into the cache. So don't do that. Give us an option where the only stuff that gets loaded into the cache is stuff you can actually see from your viewpoint of your avatar, whether it's back here, or whether it's here, or whether it's here. The system can already tell what's occluded because it won't actually render stuff that's occluded, but it's loading them into the cache, and my cache is already almost up to half full on a very short drive. My performance is suffering as a result of this massive bandwidth load. And you'll notice that many of the issues happen as a result of this churning. You see how these processor cores, they have to process all this useless information that we don't actually need while we're driving a car. We're going to finish this little loop here, and I'll show you, I think. There's well, I guess I'll have to share a link or something, where there is a request at the Canny site. See, as soon as we get to within our draw distance range of this highly textured area, performance suffers, even though the FPS has never gone down. It's currently at 150 FPS. The FPS is great, but that's not what's causing the slowdown. What's causing the slowdown is my computer it's a very strong computer, but it's not enough to handle all of this churning. Like I said, it's always constantly churning between CPU and the RAM and the memory, the storage. It's easy enough just to call it the disk. They don't use disks anymore, but you know what I mean. So we're almost back. And that short drive resulted in our VRAM getting into the yellow. Our cache is now filled up to about 2/3. So if our drive was longer than this was only about 5 minutes. If it was a 10-minute drive, the cache would have been full. That's a 10 gigabyte cache. And most of that is absolutely useless. There's no way that I looked at more than about 2 gigabytes worth of images. But the cache loaded all of them. So what I'm suggesting, and what I'm hoping that you might do too, is to, now where is this thing? Here. Go to the feedback.secondlife.com and look for this suggestion here. Please add an option to only load textures into the cache which are not occluded. And so this is where you can give your vote, and I don't know whether they can do this. This is, of course, I'm not a developer of viewers, so whether it's possible or not, I can't say. But if it is possible, I think they should do it because it would help us a lot. Thanks again for stopping by. So a little bit of further development. They actually merged it with another post, which I wish they had not, because it's a post. It's a post that doesn't have all that much in common with mine, so it's a little bit harder to find, which I'm going to put in the link to it.
Okay, that's good.
Here's the link. So if you want to copy that, you can put it in the description for the podcast. But this is the one now. They put a priority loading feature on objects, something or other, and then they merged my post with that, which I complained and said, hey, this isn't the same. But that's, they sometimes don't read them. They just merge it. They say, oh, it has to do with textures. And so they merged it.
So how much cache do you have it set at, yours?
10 gig.
10 now, is that under network files directories where you set that?
Yeah.
So you got that maxed out then?
No. The problem with maxing it out is once they fill up, then it gets really slow because it's such a huge number of files.
It doesn't write over it right away when it gets filled up?
Well, they try to, but it's that many files now. So it is, if you have 20 gigs, now it's constantly churning 20 gigs worth of info instead of 10.
Oh, geez.
I used to keep it in the maximum.
It doesn't do you any good to set it high, does it?
Well, it does if you're not a driver. You see, this works great. If you're not driving, then you can set it as high as you want because it'll almost never fill up. But it's the churning that happens for drivers that's the issue. And that's why before PBR, the maximum I recommend was 2048.
That's pretty
that actually worked really well. But now since PBR, it has to be more because PBR textures are so much larger.
Wow, that's interesting. I never knew any of that. Say, I was wondering if you could do a drive by the airport with all those things you got. You could tell how many scripts I'm running and everything and tell me how much lag I could cut out maybe. Or not.
It'd be hard to tell how many scripts you got in the airport because...
Well, I look at the scripts on the, when I open the property deal, it'll tell you your scripts, how many you're running and stuff like that. I try to cut them down. I've always done that. I've always tried to, you can't really tell people that rent to turn their scripts off. I always load an empty scripted item when I'm not using it, if I want to keep it displayed. But I don't feel that I can tell renters to do that because I used to rent places and they tell you to do that. And they said, that's what I'm paying for.
Yeah, but if you got display things that are static that you're really not using, they ought to turn the scripts
that's
off
what I
on
do,
them,
but
like planes and vehicles. I tell them. I tell
a lot of people don't know to do that. I've got a place in Hollywood where I put up a plane.
Yeah.
Just as kind of a bait so that people will come to the demo reser. But all of the scripts are deactivated in that plane. Right. But almost every other plane in Hollywood, the scripts are fully on. And some of them are way over scripted.
Yeah.
There's really no reason to have them on. And, people shouldn't be offended if you say, hey.
Yeah.
Because you're not.
Well,
if you're flying a plane, you're going to res another one anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, you have that in Firestorm. It's the advanced menu.
Yeah.
Performance tools. Statistic bar. That's where you find information.
Yeah, I just thought maybe you had some extra stuff that you were looking at that you could look a little deeper or something.
Well, the extra stuff mostly is going to be in reference to my own avatar and what and the object that I'm currently driving, or my own computer, for instance. That I can look into, but it'd be very difficult to spy on other people's stuff.
It's really easy to. I mean, you'll go over some of these sims, and they're way over 100, and just way up there. And I think last time I checked, it was down to about 64. I think 64,000. I don't know. No, it wasn't 64. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, the sim we're in right now, it's about 3,000 scripts active.
Memory used. I think that's the one.
Sim time, script time is 4.8 milliseconds, which is pretty high, but
that's
it's
good
not.
It's not bad for an airport because a lot of them are 10 and 15 and whatever. So.
Where are you looking at? I can't see his. I can see in mine.
If you look at your statistics, you got to scroll down a little bit and then open up the simulator part. So that's where you can see that.
Yeah.
And then you want to look at spare time, which is the most important thing, because if you use all that up, then it's going to start doing time dilation. And the time dilation in this sim is pretty good right now. It's 0.994, so not bad, I'd say. I don't know about the other one. You can only do the sim you're in,
Yeah. I don't know. I do what I can to get it down. I mean, the other day I sent a few things back to somebody that
Well, there's a couple things you can do that people don't know about. If you have scripts that have listens open and it's useless, like there's no reason for them to listen, if you get them to shut the listens off in those scripts. And if you got a script that's running fast timers that are mostly doing useless stuff, if you can get those two things out of the picture, then that can really lower the script time.
Okay, wait a minute. What were those again?
Well, listens have a tendency to really load up the script time.
Listen
scripts?
Yeah,
if something is listening on channel 0, especially to everyone on channel 0.
How do you look for that?
Well, you're going to have to know a little bit about scripting or how the scripts work in your object. So if it's a no-mod script, it's going to be hard to tell.
Okay.
But if it's something that's supposed to listen to everyone, and then it's just going to discern whether or not somebody said start or whatever, and if it's always on, then
somebody
that could add to the script load very much.
Somebody had an airplane and had something alive in the back of their airplane, but it was like super high scripts. It was almost like, I don't know what the hell it was, but it was some guy in the back of their plane was saying, I want out. I don't know what the hell.
To be fair, in my opinion, St. Aubrey runs very, very well compared to a lot of the airports that are out there that are
it's good.
Very, very.
Yeah, I'm always looking to, cut something. Like I like to keep 1,000 extra prims. I think I'm down to 805 left. But I know that doesn't make a difference on the scripts. But I do try to keep the scripts down too. But I'm always looking for tips and ways to cut it down without intruding on the.
Oh, you can look at all these that are sitting there right now and find out. All you do is.
Yeah, I've looked at like who the big script users right now are. Some of the, there's like boats and planes. Yeah, obviously those are the big ones.
If people are just leaving them and they're not going to use them, then to say, hey, it's mod, would you mind setting all the scripts to not running? And
I just don't. I know. I hear.
All they have to do is turn them back on. It's not like it's a permanent fix.
I know. But people have a problem with it. I don't know. I don't know what
You're
it's
full
like
rent.
They say I'm paying 100 lindens a year.
Well, if they don't like it, let them go someplace else. We'll rent it out.
I know. I'm too easy. Too easy.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, rules are rules, and those are good.
If I
reason.
if I told Hacky about it and told her to get on it,
oh
she'd
my
be
gosh,
all over them, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, another thing you can do is
hopefully she's not listening.
This is something a lot of people don't know
She'll be
about.
all over them.
There's a special hack in Firestorm. It's Control-Shift-Alt-U. And what happens, I don't know if you can do that, Luke, but if you do that, suddenly you see all these dots show up. Control-Shift-Alt-U will toggle this on and off, and you see all these weird dots.
Alt-U. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know about you. I use T all the time.
But this is Control-Shift-Alt-U. It's all four. And then you'll see blue and red.
Yeah, what are those?
Those are updates. So that's every time a dot shows up, it's an update that had to go to the server. So then you can see which objects are doing the most updates. So if you're wondering, and there might be some object that's just out there, and you're wondering, like, where is the script load really coming from? It might be one of those objects where you see a whole lot of updates coming in.
Well, that would be good for looking for when people drop off griefer stuff. What am I trying to think of?
Yeah, it might not be hard to find if you use this this particular hack. And it's just you hold down Shift, Control, and Alt, and then press U, and it'll toggle it on and off. If you have, I think it's a Firestorm only thing, but I'm not sure.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah, so nothing's really perfect. Nothing is gonna ensure that that everyone who's on your sim is having the most efficient use. And of course, that has nothing to do with the texture load, which it's a completely different thing. I mean, you could have no scripts in a sim, but if it's totally packed full of massive amounts of 2K textures, performance is going to be difficult until they get all loaded into the cache.
Okay, that was another question I had on textures, because I don't really understand a lot about those, even though I've done a lot of a lot of texturing and stuff. You want a higher or lower? Do you want as low as you can go?
Low cache, you mean?
No, as far as the textures.
Well, you gotta be reasonable about it. So if you take a look at this Humvee that I'm building here, out in front,
Right.
So you have to decide where is it worth having a high res texture. So if you look at the instrument cluster and you see like the speedometer and stuff like that, that 512 is enough for that, because anything more than that you won't see the difference. So 512.
So
Now,
512 would be a pretty good starting point then. I mean, that's
for something
kind of
small like a speedometer.
Yeah.
But if
Okay,
it was a
then like
fancy
the paint, you would
fancy
use a
paint
higher.
on the side of an airplane, you'd want as high as possible because
Okay,
it's
all right,
big.
so that's
and-
what I've done. I
Yeah.
just didn't know if that
But then
was
if
the
you're
way.
wearing a shirt and you got a little pendant on there and you can
Right.
barely see it, even if you look up close, you put a 2048 texture on there. And everyone's got to load that, but no one is going to see the difference. You might as well keep it a 256 because it's absolutely tiny.
Well, how do they do the micro stuff? Like if you look at a very little teeny tiny tattoo or something, some of them are faded, some of them are really, there's like miniature letters.
Yeah, that goes beyond my knowledge, so I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Mike might know because he's learned that
I'm
too.
going to try to suck all the knowledge I can out of you, man.
These are good questions. We are going to have to move on here, though. We're past an hour and a half, so yeah. You want to talk about your vehicle here, AW?
Well, I'll just show you just for a few
Okay.
seconds before we
All right,
sign off.
that's fine.
This is the latest thing, and it is slightly different from my previous vehicles because this is, for the first time, a vehicle that actually has suspension, which I have to thank Becky from EXP for showing me how to do that. So this is the first release from Alpha Omega that has suspension. It's also designed to run over anything, so you can run over other cars, and it's supposed to act like a real Humvee. So
Yeah.
But the other thing is, this one will let you stop the engine when you're in it, and then you can do these, different kind of avatar sits and stuff like that. Just move around by pressing the forward key.
She has that on her on that car she made.
Now, are you
just
using
released.
PBR on the side there on the paint?
Actually, no. The PBR, you'll see the rubber for the tires.
Okay.
Paint for the black stuff is PBR, but the side is not, and it's actually only a 1024 texture. So there's going to be three versions. Two will be PBR, one's going to be yellow, one will be white, so you can color it whatever. And then there'll be this one, which is actually not PBR, but I'm using environment to make it look, I think it's as good as PBR.
It looks
Wow,
good.
the detail
Looks
on
really
that's
good.
amazing. Look at them treads, man.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really detailed.
It really is nice.
Yeah, so it kind of lets you do a little bit of moving around and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. Very nice.
So that'll be new, and it's got a few features that I don't usually put in vehicles. So mainly, it's optimized for your off-road driving.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have like a built-in radio? I know some of your vehicles have
It has
radios
a
built
radio,
into them.
and it actually has a couple of clickable things too. Like you can click the steering column, will beep the horn, and you can turn the lights on by clicking the kind of the area where the light switch is, and there's another little map light that you can click.
And
It has a few extra bells and whistles.
Yeah. And the global fuel system, I'm assuming.
It has GFS, diesel, and it has horrible mileage, so you're going to spend a lot of time at the gas pump. with this
Borrow
thing.
some money, Kyle.
That's pretty real, right there.
Well, it's 6-something liter diesel in there. It's a big motor.
Nice.
Oh, another one to add to the garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, so it's almost done. I
looks
got to
very
make a
cool.
sound set for it, and then it'll be just about ready.
Yeah, cool. I like it.
But this one's a lot of fun to just drive over the bumpy meadows and bump areas, and try to run stuff over, because it can kind of run over things, and then you feel like you're in a...
You said
Godzilla.
you'd had one that would be tintable?
Yeah, there's going to be three. One will be a yellow. The other is going to be a white. And the white one, you can tint to any color. So
Okay.
like the Honda motorcycle, we released that one in 3 colors. One's gold, one is maroon, the other one's the white. And the white, you can just change the color to whatever.
Cool. Okay, man, what a great show today, everybody. I better get closer to my mic there. Sorry, I was relaxing a little bit. So, anything else to add, AW, before we close her out today?
Well, if you want to vote for the thing we said, hopefully we'll have a link for that. I thought that our original link was going to be better, because if they would have paid attention to the specific thing I wanted them to vote for. But I'm hoping that with enough votes, the Lindens will pay attention, and then maybe they'll try to implement both of the different textural changes that were recommended in both of the different threads that they now joined.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see them do this. And someone had mentioned that they thought they heard Philip Linden mention something similar to my idea, which,
Nice.
knowing Philip Linden, he probably would say something like that, because he's always got ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, it filled me with a lot of confidence that this might be something they could do,
They could have, 2 different viewers, or, an option you can turn on and off. Or
Yeah, because I don't think it
how
would
they
work
could do
that
it.
great for someone that doesn't really do a lot of travel.
Right. So to have
Because they probably want everything to load so that they don't, if they cam in, they're not going to have to
Right.
wait.
Yeah, if you're just going to be walking around on a sim, exploring sims like that, it'd be a little different.
Yeah, just set your cache really high and then load the
Yeah.
whole sim. And this
Yeah.
way you'd never have to experience a slowdown except when you
Yeah.
first come in.
Right.
But for vehicle use, the opposite is best, where
So-
you're just not using much of the cache until you need it,
So have a,
in my opinion.
yeah, have a Grid Travelers version, and then a, I don't know what you call it, artist version, graphic artist version, or something,
Some kind of a toggle switch where you can
Yeah.
say travel in travel mode.
Yeah, sounds good. Bull, anything else you want to add?
No, I learned a lot today. I appreciate it.
Good. That's why we have this, and yeah, hopefully we keep the public informed here. Kyle?
I have nothing further to add. It was a good podcast. It was good to be back. Mike, thanks for joining us today. And nothing else. Have a good weekend, everybody out there.
Yes. Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even know I was going to be here until just last night, so it's a very good surprise. It's surreal sitting at the table. I've been following the SL Aviation Network for a long time through YouTube and various other outlets. Now on MTFB radio, and we got the bowling alley going. So if you'd like to be involved with the league, I do have a Google form out there that we can, try to get your name on the list and go from that point. But very, very, very good time. Thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you for joining us. Hope we can have you back again sometime. I know that your reason it worked out today because your real life schedule is a little bit different today than normal, but that'll probably happen again.
Day off.
Yeah, that's
Labor
good.
Day on Monday.
Yeah, Labor Day. Yes, I'm off till Tuesday morning, so I'm looking forward to it. And are you still planning on doing a radio show tomorrow for around grid drive time?
Yeah, that was the plan to go ahead and do that. I don't know from where exactly. It might be on a boat in the middle of the Blake Sea, but definitely. Also, he didn't mention it because he's very humble, but September 6th, Kyle over here is going to be fighting in a Second Life boxing match for the title. So he's going for the belt. I know he's been working really hard to get as good as he can up until that point, and I will be calling it play-by-play as usual. Going to be looking forward to it.
They don't call him Category 5 for nothing.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to be there in my sponsor's box and watching the whole thing unfold. Also, speaking of MTFB Radio, we have one more week, and then I'm going to be doing a special show on there for, we have the survey going on now. What is the greatest driving tune? In your opinion, what is the greatest driving tune of all time? And you can go to slaviationnetwork.com. We still have a link up there. I don't know if it's still in the drives or not. It was in a drive a couple weeks ago. Christy put it in there for us. So you came up to a certain point in the drive and it asked you to take the survey. And she also added 2 questions. One for what do you prefer, the maximum number of legs in a drive? And then I didn't agree with her question. I wish it would have been worded different, but your worst vehicle. So, I wish it would have said the one that maybe give us the most problems or, whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. And so we got a lot of data, and I'll be sharing that on a radio show on September 6th. And I'll be playing all the music that was offered up as the person's greatest driving hit. And there was a lot of one-offs on there, so probably around 170 tunes or so will be played that day. So it's going to be a long
big
show.
Day, man.
Yeah. Okay, Metmes.
Well, it was a very impressive and very interesting podcast for me too, especially the things AW has explained. It's very interesting.
Yes.
And Hakiria just got in touch with me. She was also watching the podcast, and she is still online. She said that she couldn't participate and apologizes for that, and she wants to be back in Second Life soon. That's an important message too.
All right. We want her back soon too, so tell her to.
I'm glad to hear she's doing good.
Yes. Hello, Akaria, and we'll see you soon. Okay, folks, that's it for episode 15. And we'll be back in a couple weeks, I think. I still haven't set a schedule. We're kind of flexible on our scheduling, but we try to do it every 2 weeks. So I'm going to close it out now and say see you all next time.
Take care, everybody.
See you.